It was a wild night.
Take it over.
You picked the wrong night to miss it.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
Got a little rowdy in there. I'm sure we'll get into that a little later, won't we?
What was it?
We're not getting too much into that.
That's fair. So got a little rowdy in there.
No, we're going to talk about that first. Get it out of the way.
Okay, then.
Thanks,
Get
Drew.
it out of the way.
We weren't.
Sorry.
Now, Tony, I love controversy. You know that.
I know you do.
But I wasn't going to talk about it. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Well, it didn't have nothing to do with the wrestling show.
Okay, there you go.
You know, I told everybody ahead of time, the workers, be careful because tonight is Oktoberfest, one of the nights of Oktoberfest, and about 6 or 7 blocks away is the big park in Soulard Market, and they were drinking all day, all night, and we were going to get some of the people in there, and they might be falling down before they even get in the door. So,
and that they were, I heard.
And, you know, we didn't have no problem at the door. We didn't have no people. But there were some people, fans, that thought they were bigger than the building. And we had one club member was egging it on.
Yeah.
A guy named John Cooper. I'm not afraid to mention names. And I'll probably do more than mention names to keep this under control.
Wow. Tony throwing
he had an idea to get another guy over there. You know, we'll beat the crap out of these guys and we'll blame it on the kids. But it didn't work that way. It ended up that them guys got pushed out the door, and it was just some fans. It did nothing to do with any wrestlers or anything. It's just guys that have had too much to drink, and even their club member have too much to drink.
Right.
And egging it on with these guys like he was as big as the house, too. But he wasn't. But, you know, we had our door got a little bit messed up, but we got it fixed, and
my security squad.
Everything's under control.
There you go.
You know, I told our people, and I'm going to tell them again. I done it quick after that happened. There was a lot of people who jumped in to help, and that's good. You know, we appreciate that. But we pay people security.
Yeah.
We usually have at least 4 or 5 security around the whole building. 2 it's noticeable a lot is my nephew and a guy named George who wears a red shirt or he might have on a staff shirt. And then we have our 2 ring boys that help out quite a bit, Draco and Timmy.
Mikey.
Mike Colombo.
Mike. And then we have 2 people that nobody knows about. You never know far away on the other side of the building. We don't know what's going on. So we keep 2 guys floating around all the time.
And you got this big hoss here.
Yeah, we got him. He used to be with the sheriff's department, the police department, the jail department. He was with all the departments that have something to do with security. And, you know, and Keith Smith. Sometimes when he's not wrestling, we use him for a little bit of security because he's got an eye for that stuff and he knows when something's going to happen, when somebody's getting out of hand. And so it all worked out. Eventually, it all worked out.
You were like Nostradamus with the crystal ball when you said, you know, be careful, these fans might be a little extra rowdy tonight. I had never experienced it quite like that, so I said, oh, there won't be. You predicted it.
Well, you know, a year ago, we had a few that got like that, but it wasn't that bad. We just say, I'm sorry, you've already had too much to drink.
Yeah, you're out of here.
You know,
See ya.
I hate to put you out of here, but, you know, some other people may not like you spilling the beer on them or stepping on their toes or whatever.
Sure.
So,
well, wasn't it? It was last year.
Back next month.
It was last October. We had that big giant idiot that was throwing chairs in the ring.
That might have been around that time.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's like you said, Tony. It happens.
It happens.
You know, sometimes people are idiots.
People had a big party and just overdone it. And,
right. Yeah. That's all it is.
You know, we try to give people the benefit of the doubt. We don't want to kick anybody out. We encourage having a few drinks if it helps.
Just not be a moron.
Your good time, right? But that's one where maybe we need to keep a better eye on when folks get a little too. Because I think the couple of gentlemen that kind of were the problem, they were obviously 3 sheets to the wind, as we'll say. You could tell they had a few, but they didn't really cross a line until the show was pretty much over. But maybe we need to keep an eye out on when folks get a little.
Yeah, the show was over and nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
But, you know, we never have any problems there. As soon as we see there's going to be a problem, we got so much security.
They're out the
we
side
don't
door.
like to throw nobody out. We tell them, hey, now be careful, sit down, behave yourself, yell and scream all you want to.
Act
you
like
know,
a
just have a
moron.
good time.
It's wrestling. We encourage
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
there's a don't cross the line.
But if it gets too far away, we do tell somebody, I'm sorry, but you know, you have to leave because we don't want to cause no problems with other people.
These cats are lucky that we've passed the days when those fans would have been escorted into the locker room.
Oh,
to,
yeah.
let the
Oh,
wrestlers just handle it
They
themselves.
walked out with lumps all over them.
Right, yeah.
There's many a night I used to have to knock somebody off the apron when they try crossovers.
Right. All right, so let's get to it. I mean, a big, giant card you said, Drew,
Sure.
that we had. Tony, is there anything else you want to elaborate on, or you want to just kind of leave it
No,
at
that's
that?
good. That's good. You know, we got it all settled and nobody got hurt.
We got
And,
Linda on here. We got Wyatt. We got Frankie
Yeah.
D. Thank you guys all for joining us. For some reason, we're not getting the chats up there, but that's okay.
Tim Miller, good seeing you, brother.
Yep, we
Hope
got them all
everything's
there.
well with your family, love you, brother. Be safe out there, man.
That's right. All right, Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Kick it off. Let's get the little Dynamite's take because, you know, this is the Tony Costa show.
You bet.
Part of
The
it.
Wednesday after the show all the time. So let's get it going, Drew. Go.
Opening match, J-Mall Swag taking on Switchblade Garrett Shanks. These are two gentlemen that were both hovering right around 200 pounds, light heavyweights. These are some guys that I would like to see somebody like Little Dynamite mix
Yeah.
it up with once
Yeah.
upon a time. What did you think of J-Mall Swag and Garrett Shanks?
Well, Shanks probably a little taller. Swags is more my size. You know,
He's a muscular son of a gun.
Yeah, he is.
he is muscular, you know, and he was with us for a while and left and come back again. And it seemed like he learned a little bit while he was going wherever he went. I don't know where he went, but the match was a pretty good match, back and forth, back and forth. And finally at the end, Swags got the upper hand. And you know, when he was with us before, he wasn't winning too many matches. But now on his way back, I think he's had one or two matches since he's been back.
Right.
And he's doing good. He's doing good.
Absolutely.
I wish him well.
Yeah, and he's somebody that gets a pretty decent reaction from the crowd, too,
Yeah.
so the fans seem to like him.
Yeah.
He's an underdog, you know. That's even
Well,
though
I was an underdog in every match I had because everybody was always bigger than I was. And that helped me some, too.
everybody loves the underdog. That way
Oh,
it
yeah.
keeps everybody liking you.
Yeah.
So I'm
yeah.
into it. Match number 2, moving down the line. How about two folks that you've known for a long time? One of them since he was born, when Keith Smith Jr., third-generation wrestler, took on the son of the South, Frankie D. This was youth versus experience, basically.
Yeah. I was hoping Keith Smith Jr. would do a little better than what he did.
Okay.
He done good. He held his own with a man that's been around, well, I don't want to say forever, but he's been around a long time.
Oh, he's been
Frankie
around
D.
forever, Tony.
He left for a while. He had some medical problems. He left. He come back, got in shape, and he's just as good as he ever was.
Yeah.
And, you know, Keith Smith Jr.'s got a lot of training behind him. His dad didn't train him too much because he didn't get into it till after his dad was gone. But his son of Keith Smith showed him a few things, and he still talks to him before he gets in the ring.
Sure.
I don't know if that's helping him or if he's worried about what he's going to do wrong because his dad's there watching him. So it might be a little conflict there. Maybe it's better off if Keith goes in the locker room and don't even watch what his son's doing, and his son can't look over there and see his son.
Well,
His
sure.
dad's there.
I mean, that's got to be somewhat nerve-wracking,
I
and
think
it's
so.
always a little bit of your attention is going to be looking for approval,
Yeah.
essentially. And, you know, did I do good? Did I not?
But he held his own most of the match with Frankie D.
Oh, you bet.
And Frankie D is you know, he can wrestle with any of them. He's one tough customer. I think he's a little tougher now than what he was. Don't you, Commissioner?
He's much better shape. He works out on a regular basis. He does a couple of live viewings pretty much almost every morning where he's out working out and talking to the fans and to our brothers and sisters wrestlers. And I'm impressed with him. He's doing a lot better.
Oh,
He had that little heart issue for a minute that kind of scared him, I think, a little bit. But you know what? He's dropped the weight. He's hitting the gym. He's looking good, and he's looking strong.
Well, I talked to him a few times out of the ring before we had matches, and when he come in early, I shake hands with most of the wrestlers. Even though I don't like some of them, I shake hands with him, wish him well.
I thought you loved everybody.
I do love everybody,
I'm kidding.
and I
Doesn't mean he
hate
has to
him.
like him, he just likes
I just don't. I just dislike him.
That's fair.
How's that?
That's
I love
good.
him, but I dislike him. Just like another guy that's on the other side of the table there. I dislike him, but I love him.
Real quick, we got Big Texan on here. Make sure, I think it's November 14th, his
Okay.
show again. You can go and see his movie. We'll have Big Jim, we'll have the Big Texan on to kind of tell us where that's at
Absolutely.
soon here. So make sure you go check that out. The Theater of Pain is what it's called. Am I right?
Are you fairly? That is correct. Are you fairly certain about that date? Did you see that online somewhere?
I want to say it was in November, and for some reason the 14th sticks out in my head.
I recall
for
seeing
some
that.
reason.
I saw that somewhere. It is November. The exact date, I can't.
Right.
But
So I just wanted to give a shout to the Big Texan.
We see you on here, Texas. So if you got the actual date, go ahead and post it in the chat room, and we'll make sure.
Yeah, let us
Right,
know.
yeah,
I
definitely.
missed it the first time. Shame on
Yes,
me.
I know.
I look forward to seeing
Right?
it. So.
All right, Dr. Drew, let's go on. What else
Okay,
is Tony got to go?
Frankie D ended up winning. No, he didn't. It was a Broadway. Went to time limit.
Yes, sir. 15
Smith
minutes, and they went all the way.
Smith stayed with him. Yeah, that was great. I mean, that ought to give Smith a little more confidence going
Absolutely
against somebody like Frankie D.
Well, that's one where everybody comes out of it, I think, better. Frankie D proves to himself that he still has what it takes to hang in there with a guy that's in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
And Keith Smith Jr. proved that he could hang in there with somebody that has probably 20 or so years of experience on him. So, win-win.
That was
Everybody
good,
looked good.
And that's probably one of the better matches of the night. That was a real good match. Yeah.
It's just old school
Old school
technical
stuff,
wrestling.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
guys had to.
Big Texan just said the 17th.
The 17th. Okay.
So what is that?
All right. So,
That's November 17th is a Sunday.
yeah, so go check it out.
Very good. We
Definitely
should,
go check
Thank
that
you,
show
Texan.
out.
What is it?
It's his documentary that they did on him.
Oh, okay.
Tony?
Okay, I'll check that out.
And my wife said, yeah, that was the best match, Tony, of the night.
Well, it's two people that the crowd they all like. Three if you include Bam Bam, who is becoming a character of his own, right?
Right.
The chair, Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Yeah.
Now we go to Cruz and Cortez, I think it was. I'm not a fan of either one of them, really.
Wow.
What's causing all this?
What's causing that,
But he
Tony?
I don't hate them. I don't hate them.
He loves him.
I just said I'm not a fan of theirs because sometimes they go out there and they wrestle, and sometimes they go out there and they think they're in a boxing match.
Ah.
You know, so I like to see one way or the other, or maybe if they want really get peed off at each other, then some blows going.
Yikes.
But
Don't say it like that.
you know, I like to see a wrestling match.
Now, I mean, look, so like I said, I was at the show and I was watching a lot of the matches. I caught some of the Schwag and Garrett's match. I caught some of the Frankie D and Keith Smith match. I caught some of the, my man Damian Cortez, who you can check him here out Monday nights with me on the DCS show. Now, I mean, I'm sure you guys are going to deny this, but I have it as inside information that when the pin happened, Ricky was holding the tights. So now, Tony, this
I
is
know that's the first I've heard of that.
well, this is coming from inside information. So a certain individual wanted me to bring this to your
It's
attention.
probably Damian Cortez. Did you know they went on a cruise together?
Oh,
Him and
no.
Damian Cortez?
Oh, did they really?
Something to keep in mind whenever he's talking about his buddy.
And he says that he wants you to rectify this by having Ricky pulling his tights and cheating him out of that match because, to him, Ricky's a bum.
Yeah, okay.
Well, then you guys have that lawyer that you found at the local Kmart.
I don't know what you're talking about, Drew.
All right.
That was the guy back of the alley.
Yeah. Very good. And just totally out of nowhere, you mentioned how that resembled a boxing match for a quick minute. And just a shout out to the boxing world. We just saw earlier today, news came out that a gentleman named Patrick Day, who suffered a pretty traumatic brain injury in a boxing match over this past weekend, did pass away earlier today.
Very sad.
So
very sad.
just a reminder when no matter what these athletes that get inside a ring, whether it's boxing, wrestling, mixed martial arts, you never know if you're going to come out of it the same way you came in it. So
That's right. Even football, baseball, you get hit with a baseball, pitch your toes and it goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
They're talking about concussions in football.
Yes.
You never know. It's all kind of sports. You never know what's going to happen.
bet.
And
But-
I know our condolences go out to him and his family and his
Absolutely.
friends and the close people that trained him and stuff.
Bet.
And
So,
it's
yeah.
just a sad thing, no matter when it happens.
There's a 27-year-old guy got in the ring to do his best and never came out right, and he
It sucks. It's
lost his
sad.
life. So condolences to all of our friends in the boxing world and all you athletes out there. Stay as safe as you can. I know it's hard to do when you're in boxing and stuff like that.
I was very fortunate. I had an AC separation. I got fingers that won't move. I got a knee that sometimes kill me going up and down the steps. But to them people that get hurt seriously, that them are just minor things.
Yeah.
You know, them other ones like eye injuries, concussions, more seriously, and I've been very fortunate all my life.
Did you ever? I've asked you this before. Did you ever box as a young man?
Yeah, I boxed.
You seem like an old school boxer.
Very young.
Yeah.
In the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
I had a few matches that I won, and then I got one match. A guy hit me in the nose, and I couldn't see nothing. My eyes were watered. I thought I was crying, but I wasn't crying. I just couldn't see. And he beat the crap out of me, and I never boxed again.
So that was enough of that.
Yeah.
Well, very good. The wrestling world is grateful for that. So, very good. But yeah, I thought Ricky Cruz and Damian Cortez was a heck of a match. These are two guys who are both Ricky's 260, 265. Damian Cortez around 290, 295. Couple of hosses. That's a match I think you could make 10 times, and it would be a little bit of a different outcome every time.
Yeah. You're right.
I dug it this time.
You're right. Well, they always give their best when they're in there because they both want to win, and it ends up probably being a good match, and not to them but to the fans.
Yes.
A good match, and to them it's say, "I wasn't that good. I didn't win. Or wasn't that good. I could have done this better." But to the fans, it was a good match, and like you say, you liked it, and what I've seen of it, sometimes I can see part of a match and somebody's yelling at me for this or that, and I don't see the whole match.
Right.
But what I've seen of it was a good match.
Yeah, and that's again, that's a test for both men. Damian Cortez took the loss here, but he just, I think, got a little overzealous and he walked into a code breaker. Ricky Cruz brought Damian Cortez right down onto Ricky's own knees, and that's a case where I think Damian Cortez is so maybe overzealous. He wants to prove himself. He's really hungry right now, where he might maybe get a little more excited, or the body might override the mind sometimes because he wants to prove that he can hang with these top guys, and it just he got one step ahead of himself on this occasion. Ricky Cruz caught him.
You're probably right. You're right. It sounds right.
And Ricky was just the champion. So for someone like Damian Cortez, the match went almost 11 minutes to hang with a former champion.
Yeah, and the former champion wants to get it back again, so he's going to give his all. So
you bet.
Could be.
I mean, it was a very. I mean, like I said, the little bit of the match that I saw. I mean, I was in here on Monday with Damian, and to see Damian's chest 3 days or 2 days afterwards. I mean, I will say this.
You know what that feels like.
Yes, Ricky knows how to chop a dude. I mean, I'll give Ricky Cruz 100%. Bro knows how to chop a dude, and yeah. So, I mean, look, Drew, like you said, Damian keeps going up and up and up against these top guys, and I mean, yeah, it sucks that he took the L, but the little bit that I saw was quite impressive, especially going up against, Ricky was just not a one-time champion,
right?
A two-time champion, but he was a 3-belt champion at one time.
Absolutely.
Lost both of his belts because, he's a bum now, but that's beside the point. You know what I mean?
Cruz could have been down a little bit. He lost his title, and it's an ego thing. Once you got it, you're the best. You got to beat me. And he lost, so in the back of his mind, he's got to prove himself again.
Well, sure. And Ricky's extra fired up because you remember he lost due to a count out. It was the count out situation. So Ricky, in his mind, never got pinned. He never submitted. I think Ricky Cruz is the rightful champion in his own mind.
Yes.
So.
Well, that's beside the point. He lost. He lost his belt over there at SICW to a much better wrestler. And Curtis Wilde, I'm not a fan of Curtis Wilde.
Yeah, you ragging on him last week. Now he's.
I just said I'm not a fan of Curtis Wilde. Did I not, Dr. Drew?
That's good.
Just saying.
It's good at tiptoeing.
Baracus and C.J. Berry.
Right. C.J. Shine is what we call him. That's his professional name.
The Caramel Bear was back?
The Caramel Bear.
And I missed it?
call him Shine. Huh?
Yeah,
CJ Shine.
Damn it.
Sunshine, sunshine. I'm not ready to sing today. But, yeah, I call him C.J. Berry. I like that better.
Yeah, well,
Fair enough.
Tony, you're the boss. You
I don't
say
like
whatever the hell
C.J.
you want.
Sunshine or Shine or whatever. It's got to be C.J. Berry. But whatever, he held his own with a Baracus.
Yes.
Baracus is a monster. You know, he's a pretty good-sized guy.
This, I think, was Baracus' longest match in probably 6-9 months since he's lost the title.
Yeah.
He's been on a tear, beating people in a minute, 3 minutes. I think 6 minutes last time, but this one, CJ Shine, 7 minutes 58 seconds, an 8-minute match. I think is
Wow,
the
CJ
biggest.
took him that
That's
long?
the biggest test Baracus has had in the last several months.
But we ought to raise his hand, even though he lost the match, just for staying in there with a man as big as he was, and could have crushed him, like he said, in some of his other matches, like 1 minute, 2 minutes,
You bet.
4 minutes. But Baracus, I guess, couldn't get a hold of the guy, and the guy was doing. I noticed some of them. He was working on his legs and stuff, trying to get the big man down, which was pretty smart.
Yes.
Right.
And that probably slowed Baracus down a little bit, not knowing if he's going for the legs again or he's going for the arm or the head or wherever.
You bet.
And he go back to the leg, and Baracus, I think, could feel that.
Sure. And the thing with CJ is he kind of throws you off your guard. He comes out smiling, dancing, shaking his hips. So I think a lot of fans and wrestlers underestimate him and what he brings to the
Yeah,
table.
I agree with you on that
And then
one.
the bell rings, and he is serious competition. He knows his stuff, and he's somebody who in the last year, 2, 3 years has been traveling around a lot. He's been learning in different states, so he gets a little bit better every time we see him.
Yeah, I know. He was talking about wrestling. I want to keep wrestling here. I like it here. And I said, that's fine. I said, you just do your best. I said, you're going to win and lose. You never know.
Yeah.
But you're welcome to wrestle here. You know, the commissioner that likes you. Some of the other wrestlers like you.
Fans like him.
You know, the fans
music
like
they
it.
get-
And
it's
like
the
you
fans.
say, Drew, he's getting better each time.
Yes.
So it won't take him long, I think, if he puts his mind to it, to move up the ladder little by little.
Mhm.
It's not try to take a big jump. You know, work your way up where you can get up there and stay there for a while.
Yes, sir.
So I think he's a guy that could do that.
You're going old school. There's 2 wrestlers that reminds me of. As first, when Jack Briscoe came to St. Louis, he didn't win a match for
For God,
several matches. I'd have to go back and find the exact thing, but you know, eventually when he did win, he was over like Rover, as they say. And also, Sam Muchnick had a similar sentiment about the Harley Race, the one and only Harley Race. He says he's someone who it's going to take him a little bit longer to get over with the fans the way he wrestles in his style, but once he gets over, he will stay over.
Yeah.
And you know, just taking the slower approach with it. I think a lot of younger people now get, not just young people, older folks, attention spans are shorter than ever. So younger people, they don't want to wait. They want everything right now. But if you're patient, you have no idea the gains you'll make in a year and a half, 2 years, where if you get a push when you're not ready for it, that can do you more harm than if you take your way up and slowly get where you need to be. So
You know,
thank you for listening to my ramble.
I hate to when I agree with Drew.
Thank you.
Years ago, a man took me aside, Toru Tanaka.
Yes.
He's a wrestler and he was a movie star. He's played in a lot of gangster movies. He's a bodyguard for a lot of people and stuff. And we were at the Belclair Center in Belleville many years ago. And he said, I like you. I said, you do? You don't even know me. He said, well, I just seen you in the ring. I like you. I said, well, thank you very much. He said, well, sit down here. I said, okay. And I had some pictures of me and Tojo Yamamoto. He said, go out there and sell them later. Make you some money. I said, okay. He said, you're good. Don't get in no rush. Take your time and tell these people a story each time you get in that ring.
Yeah.
And I said, what? He said, it's like a story. You're going to do it this way this time and lead them into something to the next match you have. I said, oh, okay. So that's what I tried to do all the time from listening to Toru Tanaka.
Well, and look, how many years later is it, and you're still here? So obviously it worked.
It worked. It worked. Yeah. And now what we got?
Moving on.
We got the big one with
The title match. Yeah.
Curtis Wild and his sweetheart. Who's that, Ginger?
That's what they call him.
Wildfire.
His number one ginger,
Number one
Wildfire.
Ginger. That's
right.
what he calls her. I know. I was thinking of.
Gilligan's Island.
No, I was
Right.
thinking of Christmas. I was thinking of Thanksgiving, and he said, I was thinking of gingerbread,
I got
ginger
you.
cookies.
I love listening to him.
Everything with Ginger.
Tremendous.
Tony
No, I wasn't really. I don't like him. I like, I forgot what I like. Pumpkin bread. Pumpkin bread.
You cook any of this stuff? You bake?
Do I bake? I watch him bake.
Yeah.
I don't bake it, no. I watch him.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was really something. That Curtis Wild and
Yes, Cayman and Curtis Wild, classic, pardon, the MMWA championship on the line. Both men were ready for some sneakery on behalf of the other person.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
Cayman got away with some stuff. Curtis got away with some stuff. It was a back and forth match when they were actually wrestling in there. It's tremendous stuff. We always talk about.
That surprised me. That part of it surprised
Yeah,
me.
well, Cayman, of course, very well versed in submission styles, striking styles. He can high fly off the ropes if he needs to. And Curtis Wild, I say it all the time, it's surprising. You look at his physique, you don't think once the bell rings he's going to be all of that great. He's stronger than an ox. He picks people up in this fall-away suplex that he just picks you up and chucks these human beings. And when he does, he gets up off of his feet for Hurricane Wild, he calls it. It's like a spin kick.
Yeah.
But he gets up and he gets higher up off the ground than I know I ever could. And I know a lot of people that see Curtis, they say, well, he's probably can't jump too high. He sure can. He kicks these dudes in the face. So
And he's crafty.
he's
and
very
slick
crafty.
and smart and tells Ginger, look for the right opportunity to help me get a win. Oh, yeah. And she's always around that ring looking for the opportunity.
Yes, and successfully, pretty well, because we know they're going to do it,
Oh, yeah.
And
You know,
we st-
sometimes do it. But when?
right? And
When's it going to happen?
and the referees, they're one step ahead of these refs who are just in the wrong place or looking in the wrong way when we know something's going to happen, but we still can't catch them. But in this case, that's where the commish came into play. Curtis Wild, he threw the SICW title in the ring and was going to use it. So the ref was distracted by removing that championship belt. So they grabbed the other championship belt, the MMWA title, hit Cayman with it. Referee was nowhere to be seen. He missed all of it. Came in for the 3 count. We thought it was a new champion, but in this case, the boss saw it. And
You know, a lot of times he's busy doing all kinds of stuff,
yes,
and they're just fortunate that he was up on the stage by the announcer and by everybody else where he could see what was going on.
Yeah.
I seen it. I was on my way over there, but I didn't get there before he said what was happening. So he knew it, I knew it, and some other people knew it. So he done the right thing.
well, and to paraphrase, you basically said, you're not winning the title this way, and sort of made some stipulations moving forward. Take it away. What inspired you to do what you did? So many times in wrestling matches, somebody cheats, gets away with it, and that's just how it is. So,
And the thing is that we get so tired of seeing valets and managers putting their hands on the wrestlers or the referees, and the fans want to see a 1, 2, 3, a solid match, and they're getting tired of seeing people putting their hands in there. Now, I've been watching them for a while. They've been with us for almost a year now, and every time I turn around, she's got her hands on somebody or interfering with somebody, and enough was enough. And then when me and Tony had our conversation, we talked about it, and we got to do something. We got to put a stop to this. We want a 1, 2, 3 match. We don't want all this outside interference continuing going on. So what best way to do it but to restrict her? Now, we got restricted by cuffing her to a referee, cuffing her to dirty, cuffing her to a ring. What we got to do to get it done? That's what
Harris, that's a great idea, because you do know that if you cuff those two, if you cuff her to me, Curtis Wild would have a field day and be violent. Because, me and Curtis have somewhat of a history because he messes with my man, Damien. That's who you should cuff him to.
Besides that zippy cup thing you started to.
I don't recall any of that.
I
Drew, do you recall that?
Yes, very well.
Thank you, Drew.
What?
You
I
bet.
did not start that, Drew.
I think you did. And my God, that might be a putting Wildfire and him together in any sort of way. That's like creating this two-bodied monster of just evil and scratching and yelling, and we might create something that we're not ready for with that one.
I don't think we're ready for that.
I'm not.
That's why
Yeah,
I'm
we're not
throwing
ready
out,
yet.
I'm throwing out Damien's name.
Team in.
I'm throwing out Damien's name.
No, I'm not doing that. That's not that.
Well, me and the commissioner will get together and we'll come up with something.
Because that would be really
You know,
bad.
and
for
one
them.
thing that bothers me, it don't bother me. I don't know why I'm even going to say nothing about it, but I'm going to. The Texan and Cayman. The Texan wears a mask. Cayman takes care of his face. And people know who they are without that stuff on. That must give them some kind of confidence to hide themselves or something, because people know who they are, but they put the mask off, they probably wouldn't be able to do nothing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I think you nailed it there. And, of course, especially the big Texan, who it wasn't all that long ago that he willingly got rid of the mask and was going by Big Jim Hofarth. Everybody knows that's who that is.
Right.
But in this case, it's more of what the mask does to the person.
I think you're right, yeah.
Big Jim mentioned when he, back then, his father wanted to see him wrestle without a mask. So he was almost doing that, not against his will, but for the sake of someone else.
Yeah.
When his father passed away, Big Jim said, all bets are off. The mask came right back on. And we've seen a much more vicious side of the Big Texan ever since. So it's not a case of hiding his identity, I think, as so much as triggering something in himself.
I'll have to agree with you on that one, Drew. It was when you're right. It was when Big Texan put that mask back on. It was something that triggered in him, and I think it is with Cayman. I just think he's just that ugly underneath that mask, Tony, and that's why he wears it.
He's a frequent visitor to this show.
Yeah, I know. I saw him on there. He is like 7,000 years old. So can you imagine the maggots?
That when I started wrestling in 1979,
right?
I wore a mask, and I wasn't Tony Coster. I was the Hitman. I was the Hitman before the Hitman was the Hitman. You hear what I'm saying?
There comes a cease and
We're
desist. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I was the Hitman under a mask.
Good job, Tony. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Well, there's lots of hitmen
I
out
couldn't
there.
do shit. I couldn't win no matches. I couldn't do nothing. I took the mask off and I started winning matches.
Well, there you go.
It worked the opposite for me.
Well, in that case, you were able to learn and make mistakes without people knowing that it was yourself. So you were able to make a lot of those first big steps and the first waves sort of without taking the heat on yourself a little bit. So when you took it off, that you can be a little more confident.
Yeah.
With that.
I think you're right. That's what it was. Yeah, because I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't beat nobody.
Sounds good.
Fair enough.
Whatever Tony says is what Tony says.
Okay, now we're going to the main event.
Yes.
Well, there was two main events, really. But the last main event was Moondog and the Texan. And I never get tired of watching them two. They've wrestled each other. I'd hate to take a guess on how many times.
1,000.
837, I think.
Thank you, Drew.
How many places? I know they wrestled each other at the SICW, the community center over there in East Cronolette.
I think
a number of times.
No matter how long it's been since they've been in a feud or whatever, that's something that just is not going to die between those two men.
No.
It was, was it this past December that we had the Texas death match inside the cage and stuff? So we figured, okay, this has to settle it.
Yeah.
Give him a couple of months, and those guys find some kind of way to get mad at each other.
It didn't happen, did it, Drew?
But we wrestled, all over the place. I remember in Marion, Illinois, the Texan and Moondog, and there was a couple other places, plus South Broadway a number of times, and the community center a couple of times, and I guess the people don't get tired. I don't get tired of it because I like both. like to see both them guys.
Yep, and that's just a hoss fight. You know, it's probably not going to get too technical when those guys
Yeah.
wrestle each other. Although it can. Both those guys know all sorts of arm
Yes,
locks, leg locks.
yes.
They can do that if they choose to. But they're just trying to fight. Those are some brawlers. They're quicker to go outside of the ring and just punch each other in the face than give a hip toss.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they are.
so I think whenever fans see those guys and know that that's a match, they can get a little excited because they know they're going to see something.
Those two men, I literally think for MMWA, they are our version of The Rock and Stone Cold, because without either one of them two, there isn't a Big Texan and there really isn't a Moondog, because of the heat and the hatred that they have for each other. I mean, it's kind of like without Big Daddy, there is no Giant Assassin.
You know, you're pretty smart sometimes. Not all the time, but that's making sense. I'm glad
He actually
something happened to you.
So, I mean, really, without those two guys, there's just, they need each other.
Right.
There's just something that drives those two men to a primal rage to where they want to kill each other.
It's like Batman and the Joker.
Yeah,
They make
exactly. Kind of, sort of. Right.
And it's hard to say how many Detection won and how many Moondog won. It goes back and forth, back and forth. And I don't know if anybody holds the edge on each other or not.
I mean,
We'd have to go back, 15 years probably
yeah.
to figure that out.
easily have to go back that far.
Now, let me say something while I'm thinking about it.
Okay, go ahead.
November the 9th, we're going to have I'm going to get some Snooks gift cards. So some people will have a couple of them at least. We'll have a drawing for some of them where they can get a turkey.
Very good. I love it. That's MMWA, great working with the community. And that's a way to give back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Come and probably get
Well,
some
we
raffle
get back
tickets.
them, and Santa Claus comes in, I think he comes in December most times.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind when you get old, but I think
Well,
it's
that's
still
because since
December.
we know him so well, he shows up in July for us.
For us, he
So
does,
that's
yeah.
why it gets confusing.
But he comes, he's got gifts for the kids, and he takes care of the special social club we got. He makes sure they're all taken care of. And, we make sure that Christmas is a joyful time for everybody.
Absolutely right. So that's and it's an awesome thing to help give back to fans a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner is expensive. Stuff in Christmas is expensive. So if we can help, whatever you say, we give away prizes and stuff sometimes in December. We don't mind. Repackage it and give it to somebody. You know,
we'll have a couple drawings for a couple of turkeys along with the 50-50 and
Very good.
maybe a couple T-shirts or something.
You said we're giving away this turkey, right?
Wait, we're giving me away? Everybody wants me.
Well, I know I talked about that a month or two ago.
That'd be
We're getting
great.
rid of a turkey, but I didn't know what turkey it was.
That's one where you give away tickets for free, and then people give you money to give you the ticket back because they don't want to win.
You think that's what it is, Drew?
That's why I said it.
I think so, huh, Drew?
They trying to corrupt me now?
I think so, Tony.
But heck of a match. They went over 10 minutes, and it was. We announced last week that Big Texan and Brian James were going to be locking horns. Brian James physically absent on this night, but he certainly made himself known. About 10 minutes into this match, his music, the Bomb's music, starts playing over the speakers. Moondog Rover, very confused. He thought Brian James was coming out to continue their feud that they've been having. Moondog left the ring, was looking at one side of the building to the other side of the building.
I tell you what, and I started to get in the ring that night. For what reason, I don't know. But it looked like there was nobody there, so hell, I said, I'm going to do something. And then somebody grabbed me and said, no, you ain't getting in there.
So not quite yet. You're jumping the gun. Well, we're so excited in there.
Yeah.
But Moondog, the music distracted him. I don't know if this was a distraction by Brian James, if Brian James paid the music man, because somebody had to press play on this thing. So we'll see what happens. But Moondog Rover was distracted enough to miss the 10 count. He was counted out. Big Texan picks up the win via count out. What'd you think of that?
That's it. That's what
it?
happened.
Well said.
Can't
That's
say
what
no more than
happened.
that, right?
I'm going to tell you what. Right now, I know Commissioner was talking to me earlier tonight, and he's trying to get the professional signed for November the 9th.
Yeah.
And they're still the tag team champions, I believe.
Yes.
I know they won the title in the community center in
Yes.
East Ronalette, and that's the bi-state champions. It goes all over. You know,
Those are different belts.
it's different
The
belts.
professionals are the SICW tag champs. Those multi-state titles are now held by, I think his name's Tyler Gray and a guy named Mark Godeker.
Oh, it left our territory
Yes,
now.
but both those guys do have Missouri state licenses. So if we
Oh,
wanted
do
to
they?
bring in those tag belts again,
Well,
we could do that.
we'll see what's going on in December or
You-
January.
You know Mark Godeker? He's been around for a while. You know who that is?
Yeah, I think
That's a
so.
bad dude, man. He's
Is
a mixed martial artist, wrestler, built like a son of a gun. Mark Godeker, I think you'd like him.
So he's built like me.
That's
That
exactly
sounds
right.
like a good guy. Yeah.
What did he just say?
As long as he's not built like.
Hey,
Dirty.
remember Joni's to go.
There you go, Tony.
Yeah,
Do the
boy.
plug.
You know,
Do it,
Do the
Joni's,
plug, Tony.
Joni's got the pizzas that are wonderful. Sausage pizza. I get double sausage. You know, and then I get a salad sometimes, and then I have to split it. I have to split it with my wife and my adopted granddaughter, Brooke, and I don't get very much.
Oh,
So I've been ordering the pizza and spaghetti,
there it is.
but they don't like the spaghetti, so I get a pizza, and I get spaghetti.
There you
That's
go.
at Joni's to go right over there on Russell. That's a 804. I remember the number now. If I tell you 805, it's across the street. It's 804. And they take care of, if you want to have something catered, they'll take it to, wedding reception or birthday parties or something. You just call up Joni's, tell them what you want. They have a lot of different things you could take and or make or bake or whatever. But
You bet.
Joni's to go. We've been dealing with her for many, many years. She's a good friend of the South Broadway Athletic Club. And if you get a chance, just tell them Dirty sent you there with the MMAW show.
The
Yeah.
MMWA.
They might do something weird to your food if you tell them dirty. Tell them Tony Costa sent you.
Yeah,
Little
Tony
Dynamite
Costa.
sent you.
That might help
That's
you
way,
get
that
a
way
free
they'll
one.
want to do something good for you.
You might get a free one.
There you go. Then that's even better. Tell him Tony Costa sent you because you'll get a free pizza from 804 Russell Boulevard right there. Joni's to go. Joni's to go Pizzeria.
You
can
got
find
your
him on
crayon.
Facebook.
You got your crayon out in your hand. If you have, let me tell you, 314-865-5800.
That's it. You read my mind there.
Call
Joni's,
them when you get ready. They'll have it ready for you when you get there.
JoniesToGo.com is their website. They're on Facebook at Jonies to Go, where you can look at all sorts of awesome pictures of all the things that we're talking about: sandwiches, pastas, pizzas, raviolis, chicken wings. If you name it, they've got it. And check them out.
Yeah.
Does she ever come down to the shows? Does she come to wrestling, Joni?
Do what?
Does Joni? Is that the name of the lady that actually owns it? Is there a Joni?
Yeah, Joni's to go.
Does she come out
She
ever?
used to have two places. Now she sold one. Now she got this one.
Does
She
she come?
helps out with the other one once in a while.
Does she come down to the wrestling? Does she ever come down to
Yes,
South
she
Broadway?
does. She comes to a lot of events. She comes to some weddings. We have some music shows she comes to. And Joni's a good person. She used to do a lot for the neglected and abused kids. We'd have a couple shows and
We
all
actually did
the
some spaghetti wrestling for them.
Yep.
We should do spaghetti wrestling.
they
Long
done a
time
spaghetti
ago.
wrestling show, and it went to
So
the
what?
homeless to the.
So why are we not doing this again?
Right,
Spaghetti
thank you.
wrestling
Thank you.
sponsored by
Well,
Joni's
thank you, Drew.
It was
Pizzeria.
sponsored back then with Joni's. We'd have a lot of lady bartenders
Yes.
and men bartenders wrestling each other.
Let's
And it was at St. Joseph's.
let's get that going again.
Thank you, Drew.
Neglected and abused kids, and she done a good job for them.
Well,
And we helped her with it, and we were glad to help her.
very cool. I'm into it. Let's talk about a special announcement. Yourself and the Killer Keith Smith hopped in the ring to announce the next two additions to the Midwest Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Al Bauman is being inducted as Rockin' Al. He was a manager for quite a few years for different groups. So he's being inducted in. And, of course, our great and awesome friend, and I love him to death, John Blackheart, is being placed in there. What a great guy. I learned so much from John over the years, and he helped keep me guided between him and Ed Smith. I don't think I had a second to breathe. Didn't think wrong.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from this guy, and he's been the stable for MMWA for a lot of years, and well deserved. And I'm sure you'll see him in a few more places before it's said and done.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
he'd been. He didn't care who you was. If you wanted some help, if you were at the gym wanting to learn some moves or wrestle or something, he was always the first one to jump in there and say, "Come on, I'll show you this. I'll show you that." He trained a lot of
A
wrestlers
lot of wrestlers.
and helped a lot of wrestlers.
He taught psychology of the ring.
Probably even financially, and with his good sportsmanship and good training ability, he helped a lot of people.
Yeah, awesome guy. Awesome, man. And then, of course, he brought with him Big Mama Love. She was
Big
in the
Mama
house that
Love,
night.
yeah, lady wrestler. She was
Women's champion one time.
a woman to be reckoned with. That hurt
That's
when
for
she
sure.
was wrestling. Yeah, it
That's
was,
awesome.
was her, Aphrodite, Poison Ivory, Tammy Little, Cotton Candy. Oh, we had a bunch of ladies at one
Darla.
time.
Listen to you. I like how you got all their names
Yeah,
right
Tara-
there ready.
Tara, the Irish Terror. She
You
was
knew
the
he
women's
would.
champion.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But shout out to our buddies out there. The Midwest Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame is separate from what we do, but
Yeah.
they put in a lot of really great guys. You're in it.
I was
Of
very
course.
fortunate. It was a surprise to me. I was put into the Midwest Wrestling Hall of Fame along with 3 or 4 other people, General Band or Big Band, whatever
Big
you
Band,
want to
yeah.
call them. Brian James.
Yeah.
Keith Smith was already in there the year before with
Gary Jackson, your year.
Gary Jackson's
Or no.
in there. He was the year before.
That's right. I remember because he went on last, and we were there until
I was
like
there to give a
midnight.
little speech for him. Yeah, and I waited.
That was a long night. They've worked that out though.
Yeah.
But no, this year's
no,
gonna
they
be.
didn't because I was the last one on our show. Waiting to put the best on last. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
put the best on first.
But so far, these guys this year, the Attila Khan's going in. Herb Simmons is getting inducted this year. I'm not familiar with Chico S. Loco. I know that you guys have been around for a while. You might know him a little better. But then, of course, John Blackheart and Al Stevens. So what an amazing group of guys. That'll be a cool night. They usually do that in, like, what, February or so?
I think it'd be February or March.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
That's a
Yeah.
really cool thing. And,
And it's a nice
congratulations
thing.
to our
It's
coworkers.
in a small room. It holds maybe 100 people.
Yeah.
And you have food and listen to the inductees and listen to old war stories and a lot of things. It's just nice to just meet a lot of people that you haven't seen for a long time. I know I had a great time. There's a lot of people walked up to me that I haven't seen in 10, 15 years, and it was great.
Well, and the sad thing is now is you don't know when you're going to – everybody's dropping off like
Yeah.
flies, man. So, like, Big Bad Ben got inducted into the Hall of Fame. That was the last time a lot of people got to see Big Bad Ben.
Yeah.
Anyway, then
I think
don't
Pete
leave anybody
Madden,
else
but he
out,
lives
but-
so far away. I think he lives in Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's up in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Surfing. on the
Surfer,
lake.
yeah, Milwaukee,
Loving
Wisconsin.
life.
Yeah, and he was a good guy. He'd
Yeah.
like to help people too.
There's another guy in that
Yeah.
Midwest Hall of Fame. Very
Yeah.
good. Big Pete Madden fan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great guy. He's always a great guy to talk to, have fun with. A lot of stories. We heard a lot of stories that night. So it was interesting.
but we got a big show coming up. I've been working with Jimmy on some of it, the commissioner, giving him some of my input. And some of it he says, no. And some of it he says, yeah, okay. But, we get along pretty good. We got a big show lined up for November.
9th.
And there'll be a lot of people pumped up because it's a holiday month.
Oh, it's always jam-packed in November. Once it gets cold outside, the place fills up. It gets
Oh,
standing
yeah.
room only in these winter
Yeah,
months.
and then we're going back on December, the second Saturday in December. But right now we're concentrating on a big match for November. I think we'll have 7 or 8 matches. The commissioner gets it all together. And mainly, some of the people you don't see because I think they're a little lazy. You got to, in the state of Missouri, you got to have a wrestling license. You got to have a physical to
Yes.
make sure you're in good shape, and you got to have blood work to make sure all your blood, you don't have no diseases that you can give to somebody else. And I think a lot of it's good. A lot of it's good.
Yes.
Some of it don't make no sense, but a lot of it's good. It's and protect everybody. So
Now, as an
some
announcer,
of them don't get their stuff together and they want to be on a match, but commissioner has to tell them, I'm sorry, I have your paperwork here and it's not right.
Well, thankfully, that's nothing I've ever had to deal with personally, other than giving them some cash once a year. But now that's taken care of for announcers. But no, it's just something you got to deal with. I'm in support of it, but I don't have to deal with it. I know it sucks for the wrestlers. I know it sucks for all you guys that have to jump through these hoops. But I know Chris Powell recently has clarified a few things. They've made some changes, so
some changes have went into effect.
it's a little bit easier. Like if you get your blood work and your tests done, that's good for like a year after you get it done now.
Right, yeah.
So it's
just got changed. So.
Yeah, they've lessened up on.
That's
some
great.
things.
That's great. That's great.
Anybody
Because
that's
some of them people, before they changed it, if they did change it, I didn't hear about it yet. They have to get it every 6 months. And a lot of times, some of these guys didn't have the money to go get their blood work. I paid for a few of them sometimes. Commissioner Harris paid for a few guys to get their blood work. And, it's kind of hard on us, too.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the show going with these guys with their blood work and their physicals and their license. But some of them are such good guys, you hate to turn them down and you have to help them.
Well, and then even the physicals, from my talk with the state of Missouri, the physicals now, it used to be you had to have it done within 30 days of the date when you did it. Now they upped it to 60 days. So now they got more time to get it in, which is a blessing. That helps us out a lot. But it would start from the time that it's turned in, not from the time that it was done.
okay.
Yeah, so,
Well, just to keep on this, there was a recent thread on Facebook where some folks actually clarified some things, and great advice for wrestlers. Even if you think you're good, have copies of your paperwork
everything
ready when you show up at a show, so that way if somebody doesn't have something, you have it.
Yeah.
And I'm told it says if you call and talk to the lady that works in the office, her name is Julie Mertens. She's very nice and will help you and check if you've got what you need and stuff too. So
I know her all too well.
right.
But let's see. This time around, the hepatitis B test and the blood work is good for a year instead of 6 months. Is what they've been telling people.
There you go.
And then here's Chris Powell, Missouri State Athletic Commissioner. For all that don't know, all blood work is good for 365 days. Many rules and regulations have been updated, so we can go online and read that stuff. Yeah. So there's been a lot of changes. Check it out. So,
yeah. So a big night here at One Universal Productions. The XFL show premieres just right after here. Actually, we're getting ready to, and we have a very
ready to
we
move
do
on.
because we have a very special guest tonight. The St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback. Huh? Yeah, tune in tonight.
Go. No, Tony finished.
Tony, run up the next show. Hurry.
November the 9th, 8 o'clock, roughly. Doors open at 6:30. There'll be advanced tickets a week ahead of time at the South Broadway Athletic Club. And I'd like to thank everybody that's helping me. I mentioned all their names. I'm not going to mention no names this time. Just everybody that helps me. I love all of you. Especially my wife, who went today for her test, and she goes Monday for a CT scan to check out the best way she can have that heart valve put in.
Right.
And after they do the CAT scan, it could be sometime within that week.
There you
It'll
go.
be real quick once they do the CAT scan, so nothing changes.
Right. So our
and
thoughts and
remember
prayers
out there, guys, there's a lot of paths to the top of the mountain.
That is true.
Only one view.
That's right. Drew, when is the SICW's next show?
You just move past that. Every now and again, you leave us with that should be on a fortune cookie.
We're gonna put it on a fortune cookie.
Man, I love that. That's tremendous. I got this written down. I remember. I still remember. You said if you want to touch the past, touch a rock. If you want to touch the present, touch a flower. If you want to touch the future, touch a life.
There you
Tony
go.
Costa. So now I got one more to add to it. I love it, man.
Yeah. When's the next SICW card?
It's in 3 days from now. My goodness. Let's run that down. Absolutely. We'll do that real quick. How about the 19th in the East Carondelet Community Center? We're going to go from the bottom up. King Christopher Hargis going one-on-one with the youngster P.T. Beckham. Roy Lewis going one-on-one with Keith Smith Jr., the very popular Billy McNeil taking on former SICW champion trained by the one and only Harley Race, making his SICW return. He is healed from an injury. talking about superstar Steve Fender. The talented Ken Casa, now with the Travis Cook organization, will be taking on your Canadian hero, Sean Vincent. The team of Gary Jackson and Gil Rogers will be locking up with the Big Texan and the Butcher, Damian Blade. We have the SICW tag titles on the line as the professionals will take on Sid Holland and Richard Shaw. And in our main event, the Monsters of Mayhem are back together, at least for one night. Attila Khan and Kowalski teaming up to take on the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz and Flash Flanagan. Curtis Wilde, your new champion, will be in the building. He got his lawyers to finagle himself out of a match. He didn't want to defend his title. He felt he didn't need to. But he will be there to watch the festivities. And that's just in a few days at the East Carondelet Community Center. Call 618-286-4848 to reserve your seats. And, of course, since we're doing it, November 2nd, Swansea, Illinois, fundraiser for the Swansea Firehouse. J.J. Dillon, Arn Anderson, Barry Windham, all in the house. Barry Windham and J.J. Dillon will be doing a seminar at 11 a.m. that day for any wrestlers that may want to sharpen their skills. Again, call 618-286-4848 for that. And that evening, we'll be in the Swansea Firehouse for a heck of a card. So come and see us.
All right, guys, I want to say thank you so much for tonight. We don't want to take up too much time. You know, Dirty was late getting here to start our show.
No, I was not.
That was me.
No, that was Dirty. He was late before you got here. Me and Tony were here before he got here.
Yeah.
So we got to go because we want to get the other show going because we do have a special guest calling in. We don't want to mix up our other group. Thank you, Tony, for everything. Wanda, prayers to you. We'll catch you guys next week.
We'll see you guys then.